Okay, so we're taking a look at I don't know. Trump is making some outrageous claims right now. Uh-oh, I gotta pause my there's some outrageous claims that he's saying something about Obama did something related to treason. And, so it's like, well, I'm going to take a look at that a little bit and see what's going on because um I I heard him say it on like legacy media TV too. And usually this is stuff that we hear about on the internet and it's likely that it may not be true. Um but I just I'm gonna play this little part. I'm gonna have to be quiet though. How do I play this without it? It's gonna repeat back. That's the problem. Wait. Oh, I know what I can do. Let me shut this off. This one. Okay, I can turn my sound down on that one. Now I'm gonna play a little bit of this so we can take a listen. Oops, it's not playing. Okay. What they did in 2016 and in 2020 uh, is very criminal. It's criminal at the highest level. President Trump. Um. Okay. Obama's been caught directly. So people say, "Oh, a group." It's not a group. It's Obama. His orders are on the paper. The papers are signed. The papers came right out of their office. They sent everything to be highly classified. Well, the highly classified's been released. And what they did in 2016 and in 2020 uh, is very criminal. Okay, I have no idea what he's talking about, but he's going right back to what he was talking about when he was running for president. And so he's going right back to saying that the election was rigged. And then his daughter-in-law is actually the person on Fox News who is reporting. His daughter-in-law, Laura Trump, apparently she has her own show on Fox News. And for her to be that well spoken on the news, I'm thinking she's been doing it for a long, long time. So Laura Trump, I'm thinking, has been a journalist for quite some time. Because she speaks really, really well uh, to the camera doing reporting and things like that. So um, that's the only conclusion I can come to with her. But him and the treason and Obama, he's circled right back around to 2016 and 2020 related to the election. And so he's deflecting again from something else. That's what's going on here. Um, and he's deflecting from now. Mike Johnson has been talking about um, Mike Johnson has kind of been talking about a lot of other things too. Now I lost my train of thought on what I was going to say about Mike Johnson because hello, super jester. Because I haven't listened to that much news, and it's like, well, for those of us on YouTube, we don't get any direct contact with people in media or anything like that to have anything to talk about. so, so it's like basically then we're just repeating what they've already said on TV, and it's like, and as much trouble as we get in for things that people call spam, it's a lot of times it's like, why bother? They've already said it, and then all we're doing is giving them um good morning, and then we're just giving them additional stuff in the feed that we don't get any credit for or anything like that, or we don't get any um oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Collaboration or anything like that. So we're just boosting them up all the time. Incorporal says, what a part-time job. Jet beams can't melt steel oil. 7-Eleven was a part-time job. What are you talking about, a part-time job? It's not morning. Um, 7-Eleven was a part-time job. Yeah, well, you guys go right on. I don't know who's doing this. It's like
You've been doing it for a long time, and you're not going to be successful with what it is that you're doing. Yeah, that's what you're saying. You're from India, and so yeah, you actually have people from India. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, that's interesting. What's going on with the stars up there? Well, that's kind of, what are the stars doing? They are jumping around on the screen. Someone was telling me that yesterday, that the star was up there jumping around on the screen. Okay. Well, but I mean, he doesn't sound well. The man just does not sound well at all when it comes down to whatever it is that he's talking about. I mean, he's just rambling and rambling and rambling about the same thing over and over and over again. And now he's back talking about Obama. And it's like, President Obama is not running for president. He's not running for president. And so, I know what it is. He wants Obama arrested. That's what he wants. He wants Barack Obama to be arrested. Okay, it's United States East Coast time. You figure out what time it is and you tell me. So I think you guys should be able to have some you should be able to have some be able to figure out what time it is, right? I would think so. I'm gonna play a video here. I'm gonna do just one and see how. Oh, but I've got to do something else first. I got to make sure that one. Oh, it's around 9 p.m. for you? Well, it is. You must be about an hour behind me then. You're about an hour. Yeah, you're an hour following me, about an hour behind me. Oh, I know what that green thing is. The green thing is because I put the invite thing on. Oh, it's 7 a.m. Well, you guys just don't tell the truth at all now, do you? You're always lying. You guys are lying about everything. Oh, yeah, right, here in India. Right. I'm really tired of India. Um, Let me see here. Okay. I'm going to play this video. I hope it plays. Uh, Wait a minute. Okay. Smells like you need some dental work, sir. Sir, you got some chips on you. Gross. Disgusting. You got some bad. Smells like you need some dental work, sir. Okay. That's all. That's all I wanted to do was play that video. Okay. How am I doing today? Um, I'm nothing is different than from what it was. There's nothing related to getting help for people stuck with inflation. I mean, I'm excruciatingly tired of people on the, well, let's just say, doesn't care who tells it just as long as it's told. What are we talking about, Chuckin' and Jivin' TV? Ugh. Where is your mom? Who are you talking about, Mariana? Are you talking to me? Mariana, I'm not so sure what you're talking about. Oh, my mother is no longer living. And so if you have something to talk about, you're going to have to talk to me about it. If you have something that you need to talk about. My dad is in an assisted living home. I mean, I am just baffled all the time by these people who just think, um, uh, let's see, it says, um, all are not the same. Don't be prejudgmental about something. In all countries, there are good and bad people. Can you call him on my phone? I could call him on my phone, but I'm not going to. Um, why do you want me to call my dad? For what? I could call my dad, but I'm not going to do it on the phone. I'm not going to do it on a live stream. No, I'm not going to call my dad. That's not something he would be. No, I'm not going to call my dad. Why would you want to talk to my dad? My dad would not want to talk on a live stream. No, okay, Mariana, why do you want to talk to my dad for what? What do you want to Why do you want to talk to my dad and for what? I'm pretty sure I just told you that my mother is dead. I mean, or do you not comprehend that part? My mother's not living, so you can't talk to my mom. Maybe you just didn't understand that part or listen. Let's see. I want to talk to him. He is nice. How well, okay, if well, why would you want to talk to my dad? So if you actually know who my dad is and you've already talked to him, why do you need me to talk to him? I mean, you're telling me that you have talked to him, which I don't think you have. I'm pretty positive you haven't. Um, and so you're telling me that you've already talked to him anyway, which I don't think you have. And so I don't know why you would want me to get him on the phone because of you, friend. He's so nice. Because of me. I'm not sure I understand. I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about related to my dad. Absolutely no idea what you're talking about. Actually, I don't have anybody to even talk to on the phone. And my dad does not want to talk to me. He's not a person who actually wants to talk on the phone about anything because he doesn't know what to say. And yeah, he just doesn't know what to say about things. And so um I haven't talked to him in a long time. I think I talked to him maybe around December was the last time I talked to my dad, but he's not someone who just picks up the phone. He's never been. And so I wouldn't expect that he's going to do that now. He's not someone who just picks up the phone and talks on the phone and wants to know how things are. He knows how things are with me, and there's nothing he can do about it. So I'll tell you guys this right now. So when you're in a tough situation, say anybody who's homeless probably knows this, their family turns on them. So there's a lot of people, when they can't help, they just don't want to talk to that family member anymore because they can't help or they don't want to help. It's twofold. Either they can't help or they just don't want to help. So they probably can help some, but they just don't want to. And so that's the kind of family that I have. So I mean, I can't um, get any response out of my dad. I can't force anyone to talk about something when they don't want to talk. I can't force someone to talk when they don't want to talk. And I don't even know what I would say to my dad. And not only that, I had a husband who treated me like a child. And so I would often call him my dad. And I did. I would call him my dad because he was treating me like a child. And earlier today, when I made the discovery about the capital gains, I came up with the capital gains brides. And so I put it into Chat GPT. I put capital gains bride into Chat GPT, asked Chat GPT what it was. And Chat GPT says, well, this must be some kind of a meme or joke or something very similar to Visa brides. And I thought, okay, Chat GPT completely gets my sense of humor, because the phrase capital gains bride is not something that is real common. But Chat GPT told me something about, let me go back into Chat GPT again, and I'm going to see if I can get the same thing to come up that I had come up earlier today. Yeah, here it is. What did I ask it? Oh, it said, I asked, what is a capital gains bride? And Chat GPT responds with, it sounds like you're asking about a capital gains bride, but that's not a standard financial or legal term. However, this phrase could be a mix up or metaphor referring to a situation where a marriage is influenced by capital gains tax implications. Here's a few interpretations. A tax motivated marriage. A capital gains bride might might refer possibly satirically or cynically to someone who marries another person. To avoid paying capital gains taxes or take advantage of a spouse's more favorable tax situation. In the United States, married couples filing jointly can exclude up to 500,000 of capital gains on the scale of a primary residence versus 250,000 for individuals. This might motivate a strategic marriage before a property sale. 2, inheritance or asset planning strategy. Someone might marry a partner who holds appreciated assets like stocks or real estate, possibly anticipating setup in the basis of death, access to favorable gains treatment through spousal transfer rules, asset protection or division through divorce or separation. Satirical slang. Satirical or slang term. It could also be a darkly humorous or ironic name, like calling someone a green card bride or trophy spouse. Now, I have called myself a trophy spouse before too, because of the crap that he did. So I like capital gains bride, since I figured that out, and that he got money because of marriage that he wouldn't have gotten if he wasn't married. But in this case, specifically relating to financial or tax motives rather than love, I would think that's financial fraud, marriage fraud. Possible example. He married her right before selling that startup stock. Some called her a capital gains bride because it cut his bill in half. If you have a specific context or meme, article, or joke, I can help decode it more precisely. I like Chat GPT. And something else I wanted to add about my relationship that I wanted to add up in there was at the time that I met him, he was sitting on a whole bunch of mutual fund stocks that was in a that he was just holding on to. And he said he had made a whole bunch of money and then he lost the money. But he said he still had a whole lot of money left. And I asked him, I said, well, how come you never sold it? And, I said, why are you sitting on it? I mean, do you really think that it's going to go back up? And because he showed me the charts and everything. And I said, I really don't think that this money's going to go back up and, that you're going to get your money back. Um, and so then he sold out of it. Now I guess he could have just been keeping the money in there instead of rolling it out of the account into another place. And I told him, I said, well, why don't you protect your losses? Because you don't know if it's going to go up or go down. And so he rolled the money out. He sold all of it. Well, he actually had me do it. He had me sell it, and this was just within maybe about 2 months after meeting him, 2 or 3 months. He had me going into his brokerage account and I was the one that was selling his capital gain, or he had capital gains losses inside of his traditional IRA. So I was the one selling it because he had me he go in there and uh, do it. He was kind of acting like he didn't know how to do it. I would have thought he would have known how to do it because he's the one who opened his brokerage account. But the thing I was thinking though is maybe he left the money in there because he wasn't married. And so then it had me wondering and thinking today. It really had me wondering and thinking. So the mother of his daughter had come back and he lost all that money, but he didn't want to get married to her. So it really had me thinking about the terminology capital gains bride in my situation, or what I used to joke as trophy wife. But I like capital, because I never really thought of myself as a trophy wife. Well, in his circumstances, yeah, I would have been a trophy wife because of nefarious intentions, and with his less than honorable intentions related to me being a capital gains bride, it had me thinking about him sitting on the money and not selling it, not selling his stocks. And so because once he sold out, so I don't know if he was getting capital gains well, plus the other thing too, he did the margin, which the margin is like 9%. So he had actually taken money on margin, and he had to take out a loan against the house that he was living in because of the fact that he said margins are really, really expensive. So he actually lost money he had on margin, and then he couldn't pay it back to the brokerage company. And so that whole thing made absolutely no sense to me what he was talking about or what he was doing. The only thing I knew is he said that he had borrowed money on margin and then he had to take out a home improvement loan against the house that he had at the time that I met him. And so he actually had debt. He had a lot of debt. So the house wasn't paid for. So I'm thinking now the house itself it was almost as though the house was really, really close. The amount of money that he had in debt on the house was really close to the amount that he got when he sold the house. So it was kind of like he didn't really make any money off of the house to begin with anyway. And so then he had the brokerage account, um, which had the capital gains losses in there. And so then it had but I'm trying to think. So if you leave money in at one time the companies, when they were doing the 401ks, you had to leave them with the company. So if you left it with the company, I'm thinking, I don't think you would be able to get a capital gains loss. So if your money is with the company, I'm not sure how that would work because you've got the 401k and then you've also got you've got matching and you've got the money you contributed. And so they were doing traditional IRAs. So what I read today was it said that the Roth, you can't do that in the Roth, but you can in the traditional account. But the reason I run this through my head then is it has me thinking, well, did he set on that money, or was it just money that was sitting someplace and then they just changed things so that they could roll the money out? Because that's what it sounded like, because there was a big period of time they couldn't roll money out of 401ks and they had to sit with the company. And so then that would have meant that the capital gains loss was only for the brokerage companies. They would have been the only people who got to do that. Well, then when they started letting the employees roll the money out into their own accounts, then they would be able to use capital gains losses because um I heard it through the grapevine that well, my dad actually had a 401k and he was losing money. Now he never shared with me anything about um taxes or anything like that, or if he was able to use capital gains losses from his end because he was losing money, or if it was just something that was sitting with the hospital, um or what, so I have no idea. um but like in my situation, my husband, I mean, the first year I met him, I went with him when he filed his taxes. I went with him, and I'm pretty sure that he was getting, well, he had to take all those papers in. Actually, the brokerage companies didn't even have they still don't have a 1099. No brokerage company has a 1099 form. They don't do, well, wait, this year, no, wait, this year was the first year I've ever gotten a 1099 my own self from a brokerage company. So they didn't do 1099 forms before. This year was the first year for the year 2024 that I ever got a 1099 form. Otherwise, all you did was just take your statements. And so they haven't even been requiring brokerage companies to even pay taxes for the most part. So not brokerage companies, but if you have a brokerage account, they weren't even requiring people to pay taxes, or do a 1099. So I mean, the brokerage companies are very similar to the internet companies, you know, being so slow in wanting to give people a 1099 form for income. I mean, that's the thing I've often thought related to PayPal or even Cash App. I mean, someone just could give you boatloads of money into PayPal or into Cash App. They don't give you a 1099 form at all. I kept hearing they're supposed to. Um, but yeah, so I don't know, you know. I'll never know what his intentions were, but I think it was fraud. I really do. I think it was marriage fraud. That's how I feel about it right now, because it's the same principle as what they talk about the visa brides, is that they bring them to the United States for fraudulent purposes. And that's why I call myself, I'm not a trophy. I never was a trophy wife. Even though I used to joke about it. I was more or less a capital gains bride. Sounds about right for the tax purposes. That is, because everything about him was money, 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 money. And it gets old. It gets so old. It's like, yeah, I'm broke, but I can't fixate on it and complain about it. And it's, I just know I got so tired of hearing him hounding about, well, if you wanted to do this, you should have gotten yourself a job when you were 18 years old. If you wanted to do things and you wanted to have a 401k, you should have been doing that when you were 18 years old. And I'm thinking, well, when I graduated, I knew nothing about a 401k. Um, I mean, and besides that, people who wait tables or do hospitality work typically don't have a 401k or matching. Now, if you started doing a 401k or matching related to the United States government, well, the thing with that is then the taxpayers are the ones who are paying. The government doesn't make profits. So if you gave every soldier in the United States a 401k matching, then you're charging the American public even more money. Imagine if you did that, gave every soldier in the United States a 401k matching, in their paychecks so they would have a retirement and then try to keep it up with inflation so they have something in the future, So I mean, they are a gauge and a metric. They're a gauge and a metric because they make so little money. But then at the same time, I think of women, housewives. They make so little money too. And I know this is a boring topic for a lot of people because I see that with no one wanting to probably engage and talk about things about that. And so, yeah, I mean, I really don't have a whole lot to talk about right now. Um, I was talking about, what was I talking about? Trump, something about Trump and, oh, the Barack Obama thing. I mean, that's even boring too, because it's like, well, we already went through this back in 2016. I mean, what's gonna, he's saying that, what he is saying is that Barack Obama should be arrested. Why would he be saying that? Does anybody know? Can they answer that question? Because I'm clueless. If Barack Obama, he wants somebody to blame. You know what's happening? I'm going to tell you what's happening. I think since the past 2 years, since he's been, well, no, he was just president in January. So when he went through the thing and got all those charges for, and people were talking about treason and saying that he was a treasonous president, he wants someone else to blame. So he has heard about that and he wants to blame someone else now. He wants to pass the buck off onto someone else and say, well, this person wasn't didn't this president didn't get treated for treason, so why should I? Well, what exactly did Barack Obama do? Um, and so and then he was always saying that Barack Obama opened an investigation against him. But you know what it is right now? This is the problem. He does not know who is going to run for the next president. So he has no one to attack right now. He has no one to attack. I guarantee it, if there was a future person who was going to run for president, he would be attacking them with something. And just trying to hype things up and do his gaslighting with what he's doing. That's what he'd be doing right now, is gaslighting someone else that he thinks is going to run for president. Even a lot of the ones that, a lot of them I've noticed have bowed out of the conversation because that's all he does is gaslighting people. And he follows suit with MSNBC because that's what they were doing, is gaslighting. And, there are people who still try to do that on the internet. They're doing that too a little bit in the comment section in some places. And they'll come through and they gaslight. And so, but it's kind of like the wrestling. And we've talked about this before with the wrestling. So Trump has his entertainment and they do the gaslighting. The sports has their sports psychology. That's the thing they do. I know this is a boring topic because I've talked about it before. I wish I had something else exciting to talk about. I really don't. Um, I don't have any, and it just gets to the point too. It's like, well, what would I talk about? Unless I'm being silly about something. Um, so what this says is DNI sends criminal referral over to the DOJ for 2016 plot. I don't know what that is. I don't even know where to find the letter. I don't know what the purpose of it is. And so, um, but I just thought I would talk about it a little bit. So unless anyone has any questions or anything, which I don't have much to say. In the live stream anyway. Because of you, I want to talk to, I want to talk to your dad. This doesn't make any sense. Can you call your dad on the phone, please? I want to talk to your dad. Your your mom, I want to talk to him. He's nice. Because of you, friend, he's so nice. Please, because of your dad. I don't get that. I don't get that exchange of that's about. Oh, Royal Siva came in. Oh, I might be missing some comments too. I could be. Nope, not really. I didn't have it on. I'm hanging in here. As the best that I can, as far as that goes, without any help in finding and being able to come up with a job to afford a $6,000 a month apartment. Um, Today, what special yours? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means. Um, what special yours? I don't know what that is. Hmm. I do drink coffee sometimes. Do you drink coffee? Okay, so apparently I'm dealing with someone who doesn't even speak English. That's what it looks like. So I'm gonna go. I'm out of here. And